Hi, students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I am streaming to you live from beautiful Budapest here in Central Europe. I hope everybody is having a great day so far. Hi, Hung. This is a members chat class, but of course, everybody is welcome to watch the chat. To use it, you have to be a member. Everybody chat class where everybody can use the chat is coming up in 90 minutes, and that will be a reading passage and reading section lesson. Hi, Danish. Waiting for a few more members to join in on class. While we do that, a little bit about us. These materials, the IELTS strategies and tips, they are coming from our websites. aehelp.com for the academic version of the exam. And if you're looking for the general version, check us out at gieltshelp.com. That's general IELTShelp.com. There we go. Some more members. Hi, Firdavs. Hi, Roshni. Hi, Amarjeet. Hi, Reba. Hi, Preeti. And hi, Yuru. Our websites look like this. Hundreds of members for each website. This is the academic. Click that red button to join there. This is aehelp.com. And this with the green background is GIELTS. Click that red button to join and access our world-class materials. 6 exams, over 100 hours of video lessons, and a fully interactive course for your phone, tablet, PC. If you have questions, students, you can contact me, Adrian at aehelp.com. Members, you can send requests to me on my email as well. Today's class is a request. I believe this is from you, Roshni, this task 2. If I remember correctly, Roshni, you sent me this task 2 topic request yesterday. So let's take a look at it, and we'll start working on it. Here it is. IELTS task 2 writing. Some people say that it is wasteful to spend time in class on teaching good handwriting because it is unnecessary in today's world. How far do you agree and disagree? Yeah, so Roshni, where did you get this task 2 question? May I ask you? There's kind of a reason I'm asking. So again, students, read it carefully. Some people say that it is wasteful to spend time in class on teaching good handwriting because it is unnecessary in today's world. How far do you agree and disagree? So Roshni, again, my question is, where did you find this question? What material did you get this from? Was it from a past exam that you had, or a Cambridge book, some other textbook? So just curious. Okay, Roshni says, I got this from an essay competition. The reason I was asking you, Roshni, is because how far do you agree or disagree? It's a little bit of a strange way to ask that question. In Canada or the US, I haven't seen that kind of expression, but it could be Brit or Australian. This is the same as asking to what extent do you agree or disagree? Okay. So how far do you agree and disagree? Basically is the exact same as saying to what extent do you agree or disagree. Another way to ask that would be like, how much do you agree or disagree? So these are kind of, they're all the same question. This first one, how far do you agree or disagree? That's kind of the stranger way that I would express that. This would be the most natural way. To what extent do you agree or disagree? And then how much do you agree or disagree? That's in between the two, just so you kind of know where we're at with that. This could be a task 2 question on the IELTS exam. Absolutely, Roshni. So that's why, I thought, okay, let's do it today. So Danish, yeah, this could definitely be a question in your academic or your general IELTS task 2. All right, and then it says, use examples and explanations from your own experience. Write at least 250 words. Okay, good. So first step, let's paraphrase this question just so we understand it. So when you're practicing at home, members, always paraphrase the question. So write out this question in your own words. Some people say that it is wasteful to spend time in class on teaching good handwriting because it is unnecessary in today's world. How far do you agree and disagree? I'm going to paraphrase the question as well. Now, this is not our introductory paragraph yet. Here, we're just practicing to understand the question and come up with rich vocabulary. So vocabulary that's not just repetitive. So paraphrase on your own. Okay, I'm going to do the same. Okay, so that's my paraphrase there. Umi, Japan, thank you for your super chat donation. If you'd like to join the chat, rather than super chat donation, you want to join the channel. So beside the subscribe button, Umi, you should see a join button. Click that join button. And then when you become a member, you can join in on the chat. Okay, but I appreciate the super chat donation. If you have a question, you can also send me an email with my email address at the beginning of class. Okay, all right. So here is my paraphrase. Okay, and up here is the original question. Just shrink it a bit. We can see both. So some people say that it is wasteful to spend time in class on teaching good handwriting because it is unnecessary in today's world. How far do you agree and disagree? To what extent do you agree or disagree? Okay, so my paraphrase here is certain individuals state. So some people say, certain individuals state that it is wasteful to spend time, that taking time to teach penmanship in school curriculum is an ineffective use of time. So here I'm paraphrasing with grammar and with synonyms. Penmanship is good handwriting. So pen, just like the pen, man, man like me, and ship means the action of. So penmanship is a nice way to express good handwriting. Okay. As this skill is no longer in demand in society, so it is unnecessary in today's world, it is no longer in demand in society. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So this is a completely different way to ask the same question. Okay? The IELTS exam tries to use simpler words. This is a more complicated way or a higher level way to ask this same question here. Preeti Sina in the chat says, few individuals believe that it is not worth to teach handwriting in the classroom because it is not useful in today's computerized world. Yeah, Preeti, so you're kind of adding information. It doesn't say computerized anywhere here. That is coming from your own knowledge. So careful when you add your own information into the question. That's not in here. So careful. It could be a part of it, but it's not in here. Okay. Hi, Kesey. No worries. You're in here now. We're just starting off. For Dobbs says, many individuals consider that it is inefficient to learn calligraphy in primary schools nowadays. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Yeah, calligraphy is okay. Calligraphy for Dobbs, as far as I know, is a specific way to write words. It's a very beautiful way to write letters, but it is synonymous with penmanship. So it's very, very close for Dobbs. So I think it's okay. I think it's okay. Alvina says, some individuals consider that teaching good handwriting is not worth spending time on, as it's not important skill these days, as it's not an important skill these days. Alvina, don't use contractions, especially if you're writing academic IELTS task 2. Write out the words, so it is. Okay, does not. Don't use it's or doesn't. Okay, in academic writing or professional business writing, Alvina, it's a rule that you don't use contractions. Okay, you have to write out all of the words. All right. Okay. Roshni asked or sent us this question again. Roshni says, certain individuals believe that it is not necessary to teach good handwriting in the 21st century, and devoting time to this is a waste of time. A lot of time in there, Roshni. The devoting time is now a waste of time. Is just repetitive. You don't need that. Okay. Zainab Naif says, some individuals think it is wasting time to teach good handwriting. It is not important in our life and society. Okay. Zainab, that works. Hung says, some people argue that it is useless to spend much time for handwriting, which would not be economical use of time in school. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Yeah, okay, Hung, I just reread that. It's good. So some individuals argue that it is useless to spend time for handwriting, which is not economical in school. To what extent do you agree? You don't need all those words, Hung. Okay. All right, students. So we have our paraphrases. Let's now go to the next step. What's the next step? What should I do? If I want to write a good essay response that gets a high band score, once I paraphrase and I get more clarity and I get some good vocabulary, what's my next step? What should I do? Danish says, write the overview? No. Yeah, before I start writing, Danish, always before you start writing, you need to plan, you need to think. Okay, so yeah, Hung says, yeah, maybe you apply some critical thinking for the topic and the controlling idea. Preeti agrees with that, as you've heard me say in many classes. Yeah, absolutely. So step one, always, even in the IELTS exam, like if you're thinking, oh, geez, Adrian, I only have 40 minutes in my English. I mean, it's just not good enough to do all of this writing and planning. At least students do critical thinking and planning on the topic and controlling idea in your mind, okay, on the exam, even if you don't have time to do it on paper. So step one, always, okay? A little bit of thinking goes a long way. So always plan your essay by thinking critically about the topic and the controlling idea. Okay? Always, always, always. So many times I have seen students get a bad band score, a low band score like a 5 or a even less, like a 4.5, just because they don't write about the right ideas. What's the topic here? What is the topic here? What are we talking about? Okay. I'll show you the original question again. When you're thinking about the topic and the controlling idea, always focus on the original question, not your paraphrase. Okay. Roshni, very good. So Roshni says the topic is good handwriting. Danish, it's not just handwriting, but it's good handwriting. Ryuks Mizuki, penmanship in school curriculum is a little bit too much. You're mixing with the controlling idea. Okay, the school curriculum is more in the controlling idea. The topic, okay, is here. Okay, when you identify the topic, think about the subject, object of the question with, and this is important, adjective or adjectives. Okay, so here, good handwriting is the object of the sentence with the adjective good. So the focus here is good handwriting. Okay, we're focusing on good handwriting. All right, that needs to be defined, right? So we need to know what we're actually talking about. A very dangerous way to write an essay is just to assume that you know right away and your reader knows right away what you're talking about. So here, good handwriting. So what is good handwriting? That's our first question, of course, right? So what are you actually writing your essay about? You really need to have clarity there, otherwise it could get very confusing. So what is good handwriting? What do you consider good handwriting? So Roshni says it's clear to understand. I think what you're trying to say, Roshni, okay, it is, you need a little bit more, Roshni. Okay. Reba says writing, so I'm not surprised here. We're going to see many different answers for this question. So Roshni says it's clear to understand. Reba is adding that it's organized. Sure. Kisi says it's recognizable and beautiful. Okay. Zainab says the spelling is correct. So, sure. Okay. Hung says writing all words in correct ways like size and clarity, easy to recognize. Okay, so good. Nobody's used the word legible. Oh, yep, somebody just did. Ryuks Mizuki. There we go. Yeah, there's actually a specific word for this, legible. Okay, legible means it can be easily read. The opposite, by the way, the antonym, is illegible. Okay, so these are actually two good words that you should learn for this essay. Legible and illegible. Legible means I can read it, and illegible means it cannot be read. So if water contacts the paper and it washes the letters, then the letter becomes illegible, or if it's really poor writing, okay? An interesting way to express illegible is chicken scratch, is an expression, okay? It means bad handwriting that cannot be easily read. We call it chicken scratch. That's a common expression for it, okay? So good handwriting is clear, it's easy to understand, it's organized, it's recognizable letters that are beautiful, they're spelt correctly, it's legible, okay? Correct punctuation, I think, was also Amarjeet said punctuation. So attention to punctuation. Yes, students, on the IELTS exam, you do get marked for punctuation. So if you put periods, question marks, commas, capital letters, small letters in the wrong places, or you use them incorrectly, your essay scores will decrease. So on the IELTS exam, you do need that. Okay, so let's talk about the why. Okay, so let's focus on the why question. So why is good handwriting important? Okay, so why is good handwriting important? So why is quality penmanship important? What do you think? So what would be, if you ask 10 people, if you ask 10 professionals, okay, good handwriting is important. Why? Danish says to understand clearly and accurately. Sure. So to communicate clearly and accurately in literature. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that would be one reason. Reba says it attracts the reader's attention and interest. There's truth to that, Reba. So it gives interest and quality to the information. Sure. Kesey said it leaves a good impression. Okay. Yeah, absolutely, Kesey. I agree. Good handwriting leaves a good impression about the author, their attitude, their outlook on life, right? It can, sure. Okay, there we go. Ferdavs is saying something really interesting as well, and I was wondering when someone would express this idea, so good job, Ferdavs. Ferdavs says it develops unique patterns of thinking. In the brain. Yeah, absolutely. So it's proven that quality handwriting develops different parts of the brain as well. Sure. It helps to enhance the confidence of writers, according to Amarjeet. That's a very good point as well. Amarjeet, absolutely. It helps to make the author feel more confident. If you know you have nice handwriting, then you know that the readers will have an easier time to get your information, so you're more confident to express your ideas. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. So what can we say? What can we clearly say about knowing good handwriting when we think about all of this information. So to communicate clearly and accurately in literature, it gives interest and quality to the information. It leaves a good impression about the author, their attitude. It develops unique patterns in the thinking of in the brain to practice good handwriting for the author. Like, for example, if I want to take this further, hand-eye coordination. Right? So just like many other skills that need the eyes and the fingers or the hand, good handwriting develops the brain's hand-eye coordination, which is an extremely important skill for success in human life, just like typing and watching the screen, right? So what can we say about learning handwriting then in general? We can say that it benefits both the writer and the reader, right? All right, so I need to ask another question. And again, members, here I'm really focusing to develop your thinking pattern and to think quickly in this critical format. So what's my next question? So I've thought about these points. I've come to the conclusion that good handwriting definitely has benefits for the reader and the writer, so both the author and the reader. So then what's my next question? So Danish says how, okay, how to improve good handwriting. Sure, I can ask that. How to develop good penmanship. Okay. By practice, repetition, okay, technique. Sure. Okay, what's my next question? So I've asked the how, I thought about it through schooling, of course. Okay, what's my next question? The how is usually quick. Okay, yeah, Preeti, from a teacher, absolutely, from a book. Okay. So I'm kind of melting the controlling idea and the topic here a little bit, just to help you move faster through this. Okay. So I want you to get to your thesis quickly as well. Yeah, you can learn from online videos. There are exercise books for this as well. Okay. So remember, this is my question, why is good handwriting important? And remember the nature of this task 2 question. So the task 2 question is, to what extent do you agree or disagree? So how much do you agree or disagree? Or how far do you agree or disagree? Okay, and my question was, why is good handwriting important? So now I want to ask the inverse, right? The opposite. Why is it maybe not important to society, Reba? This is why it's important to society, right? Because it develops the abilities of the individual, the writer, and it helps the reader, the public, the audience. So the next question then would be, why is good handwriting not important to individuals and or society? So what do you think the answer would be to that? So if I asked 10 people, why is good handwriting no longer important to people, to society? Why would it be wasteful to teach it in school when we could use that time to teach others? Okay, so this is where we can come in with what a couple of you were already thinking. Danish says, because we live in the world of computers, okay? Okay, so we live in the age of computers where we no longer need to write by hand. Is this statement true? So is it true to say we live in the age of computers where we no longer need to write by hand? Is that true? In fact, many of you see that emails have these autocomplete programs running now where you can actually complete your sentences. Okay? So typing, Hung says typing is faster than writing by hand. Okay, sure, that's true too. Is this statement true that we live in the age of computers where we no longer need to write by hand? Think about it. Do you always use a digital device? So Roshni says yes. Ferdov says no, right? So there are still situations where we rely. So careful with these superlative statements. So we live in the age of computers where we rarely need to write by hand. That's a more accurate statement. So Dabo, thank you for your super chat donation. That's awesome. Just remember, to join the chat, you actually have to join the channel. So beside the subscribe button, you should see a join button. If you don't see that, let me know or send me an email, okay? Soda, you can contact me here, adrian@aehelp.com, okay? All right. So, yeah, Preeti says it's partially true. Right, okay. So we live in an age of computers where we rarely need to write by hand. Typing is faster than writing by hand. All right, good. So another question might be, how do we develop handwriting? But by this point, you should be able to come up with your thesis. So, okay, so we don't need to teach it in school because we live in a world where we rarely need to write by hand. Typing is faster than writing by hand. Okay. So now you need to decide. Okay, it's decision time. And you should go through your critical thinking before you decide. So step 2, after thinking critically, okay, decide your answer. Okay, and then write your thesis. Okay. So here, based on this information, decide how much you agree. So how far do you agree that you don't have to, or we shouldn't have to teach good handwriting in school? So why is handwriting good and important? Well, to communicate clearly and accurately when we do it. It gives more interest and quality to the information that we do write by hand, even if it's just a note or a short letter. It leaves a good impression, so it does benefit both the reader and the writer. Why is it not important to society? Because we live in the age of computers. So now decide how much you agree or disagree with this and write your thesis statement. I don't want to give you this because I want you to think and decide. Of course, you have to consider this is a task 2 IELTS essay, so you need to choose the easiest answer possible. Okay? So write your response and choose the easy path. Choose the easy road. Okay, I'm going to write my thesis, but I will give you a little bit of a head start here. Okay, I want you to come up with a thesis for this question. Okay, one more time the question. It's always a good idea to reread the question before you write your thesis. So some people say that it is wasteful to spend time in class on teaching good handwriting because it is unnecessary in today's world. How far do you agree and disagree? Okay, that's the original question. So write your thesis for that. Okay, again, I'm going to do the same, and I'll start now. I'll do it quietly to let you think. Okay. All right. Hung says, even though we live in the age of computers and typing is faster than writing by hand, comma, Hung, comma, not period. Okay? So even though we live in the age of computers and typing is faster than writing by hand, comma, I strongly believe that developing handwriting helps to enhance the confidence and impression about the author. Okay, confidence and impression. Careful with your parallel grammar, Hung. It's good. Okay, Hung, I think that's okay. Confidence and impression are two clearly different points, so that's good. You can make an essay about that. Just careful with your parallel grammar, Hung, and careful with your punctuation. Your punctuation, you need a comma after computers, and you need a comma after hand. Okay. Caddy, no worries. All right, waiting on some more thesis statements. I'll read mine. It's kind of similar to yours, Hung. Although it is true that people live in the digital age where typing on a computer is more common than writing by hand, I do believe that teaching good penmanship in school has great value for both the author and audience. That is my thesis statement. Okay. Reba James says, although writing is less in demand in a computerized world, comma, I strongly believe that good penmanship plays an important role in life in order to bring a good impression and creative thoughts. We didn't even talk about that, Reba, but you're right. We have very different way of thinking when we write by hand, when we write with a pen or a pencil than when typing. So a different type of thinking. That's true too, Reba. Preeti says, although we are living in a computerized world where we no longer need to write legibly, I believe that good handwriting not only develops unique patterns of thinking, but it also helps to enhance confidence. Preeti, that's good. Just be very careful to remember that you aren't forgetting school as an important part of this response. Okay? Just make sure you don't lose these ideas as you write. Okay? Thesis statements, viewers, audience, it's the most important part of your essay. If you can come up with a quality thesis statement for your task 2, you have greatly increased the chances of getting a 7 instead of a 6 or a 6.5 instead of a 5.5. So we always spend a little bit of extra time on developing the thesis statement. This skill, members, viewers, is not just extremely important to get a higher band score on the IELTS, especially the academic, but it's also a very important skill for university and for life, okay? So a thesis statement should be clear in business proposals even, for example, okay? So that's why we always spend a little bit of extra time here. Ferdovs says, while it is true that technology has transformed writing methods, I believe learning good penmanship in schools has an overall impact on both readers and authors. Yeah, Ferdovs, yours is very, very close to mine. Good for you. You don't, I wouldn't focus on primary school. The question doesn't. The question didn't say primary school. It just said school. So, so I would avoid saying primary school for Doves. Careful with the question details. Kesey says, even though we rarely need to write by hand in the age of computers, or in the computer age, I strongly believe that good handwriting is useful because of its impression and communication. Okay. I'm trying to avoid using good there twice, Kesey. Anytime, Kesey, that you see the word repeat itself, especially almost when they're right above each other, like good, good. You see how, Kesey, you have good, and then right underneath almost you have good again. You want to paraphrase that. You want to avoid that in your writing. Okay, Alvina says, although it is considered that there are a plethora of modern devices that help people to type instead of write, I think it is essential to teach good handwriting as it is still used in many facets of life. Alvina, I would finish that with, it is still used in many facets of life. Instead of areas, facets is a nicer word. It's a better word choice. Facets of life. Okay. Roshni says, certain individuals believe that it is a waste of time to teach legible handwriting nowadays. However, I completely concur that teaching penmanship increases intellectual growth, so it should be in school curriculum. Okay. Ryu says, despite the availability of technology that makes life easier, Ryu, focus it. Despite the, I'm going to start one more time, Ryu, from the beginning, and just replace a couple words to make your thesis more focused, okay? Despite the availability of technologies that make writing easier, developing good penmanship enables a person to give individuality to his work as well as leave an impression on his readers, okay? Ryu, that's good. It's nice. It's a nice thesis, Ryu. I like your 2 points, and I like your parallel grammar. Okay, instead of the 2, you want an on for that second one, but it's good. Amarjeet says, although in the digital era, handwriting is less required, I think it is still beneficial to write correctly, as it not only enhances the author's confidence, but also the comprehension, also reader's comprehension. Author's confidence, but also reader's comprehension. Amarjit, I would end it with comprehension. Okay. Zainab says, although it is true that we live in the technology age and use of digital writing tools to type faster and clearer is more common, comma, I believe teaching good handwriting is important to leave a good impression and enhance thinking. Okay, Zainab, something like that. Zainab, be really careful with double negatives, okay? When you start the sentence with although, you should not have the word however after the comma. So you see the word clearly, comma, however. That however is very confusing. So don't do that, okay? Avoid that. Be very careful with that. Okay, good, students. Now we're ready to write our introduction. Introductory paragraph has a hook, a background, and a thesis. That's a quality introduction, okay? That's the way introductions are structured in university essays. Do the same for the IELTS, just keep it simpler. University essay introductions are, of course, much longer. So, introductory paragraph, and of course, use your critical thinking and your planning to help you with this. Okay, so introductory paragraph starts with the hook. All right. And your hook should have something to do with the topic. So it should have something to do with perhaps penmanship. Or you might think about a hook that focuses on using time in school. Okay. Ferdov says handwriting is part of civilization. Sure, I like it, Ferdovs. I'll take it while people think of other ones. So handwriting is an integral part of human civilization. Sure, that's a nice statement for Dobbs. I'll take it. So handwriting is an integral part. Integral part means that it's deeply connected, it's deeply rooted, it's attached, it's ingrained in our civilization. Okay? That's a good one. I like it, Ferdovs. That was quick. You thought about that nice and fast. So handwriting is an integral part of human civilization. Yeah, that's very, very easily argued. Handwriting is a unique and technical skill in society. That's what Hung says. Handwriting is a unique and technical skill in society. Sure, that's a very good one as well, Hung. Just as good as for Dobbs. They're very close. Amarjit says handwriting is a skill which develops the personality of everyone. Amarjit, that's an argument, and it's a little bit unexpected. So I wouldn't write that. Even though it's a good fact, it's more for the importance of the question than for a hook. So Amarjit, I would use that more in the background for why it's important to discuss handwriting or using school time to teach handwriting. Okay? Danish says good handwriting is the key to confidence for individuals. Danish, that's also a bit of an argument, but I think it's an okay hook. So it passes for a hook. I think you could make that statement. Okay? So handwriting is an integral part of human civilization. That's my hook. And then now I have a background. And the background, as you remember, it's the definition and the importance of the question. And here, the definition is very important because not all people define handwriting the same, as you saw when we asked that question of what is handwriting. Okay, so the ability to correctly form letters and compose sentences so that writing by hand is legible is traditionally a skill taught to people in primary school curriculum. Okay, so that's my definition. All right, the ability to correctly form letters and compose sentences so that writing by hand is legible is traditionally a skill taught to people in primary school curriculum. Okay? Now, the importance. Nevertheless, Time spent in class to develop penmanship has come under question in the age of in the modern age of computers. That's the importance of the question, right? That's why you're getting this IELTS Task 2 question, because we are living in a changing world where typing by hand or even by thumbs is slowly replacing this skill of writing by hand, right? So I visualize it. I think about my definition for what I'm talking about here. I keep the question in my mind, the task 2 question in my mind, and then I think about, okay, so why is this question important? Why would the IELTS make such a question? And then, of course, this idea becomes clear. So now I have my hook and my background, and the next is simply to put in my thesis. So for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to copy paste my thesis in to complete my introductory paragraph. Okay. All right, I see a couple of other good hook statements up there by Kesey, Preeti, and Alvina. Roshni says, can this be the hook? Technologies have been merging with our daily activities for a few decades. No, Roshni, that's not a good hook because it's too vague. It's too general. It doesn't create clarity in the mind of your reader for what you're actually writing an essay on. It's too broad. Okay, with the 250 word, 350 word essay in the exam, in the IELTS, you need to make it more focused. Okay, you're going for details here. Danish says, sir, you're writing such complex sentences which we cannot write easily. How much time will it take to write like this? Danish, it really depends on how much you practice. So it's kind of funny because we're talking about handwriting, and writing by hand here is kind of some of the key to this. So of course I've spent a lot of time writing by hand as well as computers. Danish, the amount of time you practice this, the amount of time you practice your critical thinking will define how fast you reach this level. And you can, okay? Preeti says, handwriting is a skill which students learn in their primary classes in school. Therefore, they can form good letters in an organized way. See, Preeti, your background definition is a paraphrase of mine, virtually, and it's just as good. Okay, so Danish, if you look at Preeti's definition, and Preeti wrote the definition almost as fast as I did. Now, Preeti has been in these classes for several months and has done a lot of work. Preeti is able to come up with sentences that are almost at the same level as mine, Danish. So it's possible. That Preeti is a good example of this. So and a few students are now very close. Some of Alvina's sentences are very, very nicely composed. Some of Kesey's are nicely composed. Bagzod, when he's in class, some of those are very nicely composed. So practice does make perfect, okay? So here is our introductory paragraph. Let's read it. Make sure it makes sense. It's clear. Handwriting is an integral part of human civilization. The ability to correctly form letters and compose sentences so that writing by hand is legible is traditionally a skill taught to people in primary school curriculum. Nevertheless, time spent in class to develop penmanship has come under question in the modern age of computers. Although it is true that people live in the digital age where typing on a computer is more common than writing by hand, I do believe that teaching good penmanship in school has great value for both the author and audience. That will definitely be a Band 9 introduction for your task 2. Any introduction reflecting these ideas with different words, different grammar structure is just as good. Okay? Hung says writing with a pen or pencil needs to be taught to students at a young age in school. However, developing penmanship has faced technological improvements in modern society. Hung, very good. And Hung, by the way, your sentences are really developing quite quickly as well. So good job. I see. Yes, Hung, I absolutely got that that was your background. When you have clear writing, students, and when you have clear ideas, it's very clear what part of the essay you're writing. So Hung, that was very, very clear for me that you wrote the definition and the importance of the question together there. So, all right, members, tomorrow we will finish this task 2 essay. So tomorrow we continue with body 1, body 2. We'll work through those together nice and smooth with a conclusion. That's my goal, to get those 3 paragraphs done and have a true, fully composed band 9 for this task 2 question. Roshni, thank you so much for submitting this question. It's a good question. It's provocative. It's an interesting question. It's a unique question. So thank you for that request. Members, remember, one of your perks is that you can make requests. Task 2 questions, speaking questions, task 1 questions, questions about reading, listening section. So don't forget to send in your requests. Viewers, you can become a member by joining our channel. Just click the join button beside the subscribe. If you don't see it, send me an email. I'll send you more information on how to become a channel member. My email is adrian@aehelp.com. So ADRIAN @aehelp.com. And when you're a member, you get a discount, a special coupon discount for our premium membership also. So members, keep that in mind, that you do get a 40% premium discount on the premium course at aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com. So if you want to upgrade and have that, not just the practice exams. All right, everyone, thank you for working hard in this lesson. Hopefully, I will see you in 30 minutes. We will have a class for everyone where everybody can chat, and that will be for the IELTS reading section. So hopefully see you there in 30 minutes. Adrian, bye for now.